Hi everyone, this is Val from EurekaCrystalBeads.com with another sparkling beading video. Our project today is a cherry charm. But before I get started, here's a quick reminder to check out our channel. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and notification bell to be notified every time we have a new posting. The supplies we'll be using today in our video is some 6mm red bicones, green 6mm bicones, some green seed beads. You also need some Supplemax or monofilament and some 26 gauge gold plated wire. For tools, you'll be needing a scissors to cut your line. If you want to do that wiring at the top, we'll be needing some wire cutters, flat nose pliers, and a round plier. So ordinarily, I would use a clear Supplemax or monofilament for my project. But because I'm going to be demonstrating it, it's easier to show you with a black line. That way you can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit more. So for each of my cherries, I will be needing to cut 18 inches of my monofilament or Supplemax. And I went ahead and I strung up 4 of the red crystals. Now with my right line, I'm going to cross into the last bead on my line. And I'm going to pull my lines tight. And at the same time, I want to bring my project to the center of my line. That way I have ample space on each side. Bring your lines together and you're going to string up 1 red bead on each line. And 1 more on the left line. Okay, just like this. So now the right side will cross through the last bead on the left and pull your lines tight. So now when you look, you have 2 circles, 1 and 2. We're going to repeat that section we just did. So 1 on each. And 1 more on this left. Right line will cross through the last bead added on the left. Pull your line tight. Now you have 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. Bring your ends together. And you see how we have these points on each side? We're going to connect them together. So each side will have 1 bead and it's going to cross to that opposite bead. So from same direction, we're going to go into our project just like this. Pull that one tight, and then through the other side, we're going to do the same thing. So 1 bead and cross through the bead on the opposite end and pull your lines tight. And we created 1 cherry. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that our project is not squishy. We have to tie some knots, but I want to reinforce our project. So you see on this side and on the opposite side, you'll see there's no line connecting. You see how these have lines connecting? Right here, there's no line connecting, and this part's kind of squishy. So I want to go and sew through all of those beads on the top. So the top 4 beads. So 1, 2, 3, and last one, 4. Okay, just to make sure that that's nice and tight. We're going to do the same thing to the opposite side. One, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to go through 1 more bead because I want to bring my lines next to each other. And pull your lines tight. From here, you can now tie your knot. And you never want to cut right where your knot is, never with monofilament or Supplemax. You always want to be able to weave your lines through at least 2 or 3 beads just to give it a little bit more strength, and that way you don't have to worry about your knot becoming loose easily. All right, so here we go. So now what we do is we're just going to cut off our excess line. So now we have our cherries ready. All right, now that we have our cherry pieces done, we're going to start making them by adding our stems and our leaves to our project. So this one here is done with probably a more manageable normal size. So this is done with a 4mm. So if I'm using a 4 or 3mm bead, I would definitely use something skinny like a 26 gauge wire to join it all together. But I'm going to be using this heavier size crystal, a 6mm. So I'm just going to be using some 22 gauge wire. So what we want to do is cut about 18 inches of wire. Take your flat nose plier. And we're just going to bend over a little bit to make a little notch. And then just kind of smash that notch together, forming a little hook, just like that. And that's going to help hold back our beads. We're going to add on one of the 6mm, our cherry, a green for our top of our cherry. Just add some color. And then from here, we're going to add in about 8 seed beads. All right, so we have it all lined up. Looks just like this. So to this, we're going to add on 3 of our green bicones for our leaves. We're going to bend where our leaves are and fold it over to create a little triangle of our green leaves. Bring our wires together and twist this green leaf portion 3 times. See how it's twisted? All right, so now we'll take our round nose pliers. We're going to create a little loop, this little loop here. Take a round nose plier and just hold it up about 3/8 of an inch above your beads here where it ended, and make that loop. Bring the wire over. Just like this, and give this a little twist. Just like this. Now we're going to add on 3 more of our crystal, our green crystals. And we want to go ahead and make that loop first before we add on some of our green seed beads for our stems. So we'll bring our lines together, our beads together rather, and we want to make sure we avoid this eye loop. We don't want to get tangled. And I'm just going to kind of twist my green. Just kind of make sure that it looks good for you. If you feel like you have either more gaps, like right now I am showing like I have a little bit of a gap and it's bugging me. So I'm going to just kind of wrap my wire around it just to make sure it's strong enough. And now we're going to add on our seed beads. So we can add the same amount, which we did 8, or we could go less. So I go 7, just because I feel like being a little different. And then we're going to add our green, our cherry, and our red. So because we did one last seed bead, you see how it is a little shorter, and that's kind of cute. You can make it the same length. It's up to you. So now we want to just make our little hook on the other end. So I just need a little bit of wire sticking out from my cherry. So I'm going to cut that, but before I turn, I want to make sure that everything with my cherry is laying nice and straight. Push down your beads towards your leaves, and we're going to take this, and at least halfway through, we're going to start where we want our tool to make our notch. So once we got that, we want to make sure our notch is nice and tight. If you want to add a charm, to this from here, so it's hanging extra long. You can do a little wire wrap with your wire, and then you can hang a little charm from there. Just gives it a little bit more of a flow. From here we can make sure our loop at the top is straight. And here you go, our cherry charm. Totally reminds me of when I was a kid. I would go to the cherry farms and we would go pick cherries. That was so much fun. And then our fingers would be totally um, really like blue, and they kind of look bruised and red from all the cherry juice. And here is a 3 millimeter, which I think is so cute. And I just added ear wires to this. You can do 3 millimeter beads here. I didn't have any at this moment to demonstrate to you, so I just put a 4 millimeter and just twisted one of them. But isn't that cute? So now we have 3 cherry sizes. So we have a 3, a 4, and a 6. Now, shape-wise, I don't suggest to do, um, say, fire polish for this particular one, because I think the fire polish makes a shape not as cute, but definitely rounds. Any kind of round shape could be a pearl, or it could be a druck bead. It could be just a round crystal, or bicones like we use today. Thanks for joining us, and like always, all the supplies are listed in the comment section below, and you can find all these supplies and more on our website at eurekacrystalbeads.com. Thanks for joining us.